Welcome to the Collector Cave, and this is a review of Bring Art's Final Fantasy VII Aerith Gainsborough. And this is the 6-inch line that Square Enix has through Bring Arts, or the 1/12 scale. And this is the third figure. They've already released Cloud, Tifa, and even though Barrett is considered figure 4, he's already come out as well. And they're releasing all of the original main characters from Final Fantasy VII in this format. So this is more of like a format or a look of the original FF7 game in 3D set. So this looks pretty cool. I love the packaging of the Bring Arts for the Final Fantasy figures. They look really clean, very simplistic, but very nice. You have the gray stripe here with the Final Fantasy VII logo, Bring Arts, and then the white background, really making that figure pop. Looks great. And it is an official product with the Square Enix hologram. It's not a bootleg. And then there's a choking hazard for ages 3 and under, and this is for ages 15 and up. And here's the side of the box. Again, very simplistic. And in the back, we have a picture of the figure looks like the Highwind right there. And then a couple of different blogger shots of what you can do. And it looks like she comes with her staff, which I believe is the guard stick. I think that's the first weapon she comes with, I believe, in the game. A couple hands, and I think a second face sculpt, like a praying face sculpt, and a stand. And then here's some legalese. I believe this is 25 points of articulation. It says on the Square Enix website. And so this one I ordered is the digital version. So all that means is you get a digital proof of authenticity with this figure. So if you ever want to sell it, one, you have this here, but you also have a digital proof of the authenticity you can submit online. And it also gives you a 3D model of the character, whatever that is. I'm not sure. The Cloud one I have has that as well. I didn't mess with that. I did submit the authenticity on that one, though. But this is $159, so it's $30 more than the standard version. The standard version is $129. And when I ordered this, the standard version had been sold out. Now, the standard version, the $129 version, is available on Big Bad Toy Store. And both versions are available on Square Enix North here in America. And this version, the deluxe digital version, is only available on Square Enix website if you want to go that route. But enough talking, let's get this thing open and see all that she comes with. All right, and here is Aerith Gainsborough out of packaging with everything she comes with. She also includes some instructions, very simple stuff, how to change the faceplate out, plug and play. The different hands she has, so it's technically 7 hands, but you could say 8 because these two are the prayer hands together. They plug in very easily, and then it shows you how to do the guard stick, the staff. It comes apart at the handle, and then you can slide her hand in and re-plug it in. We'll show that because there is a little slot there, a groove there, be plugged in a certain way. And then there's the stand with 2 different size clamps, and then of course the flight arm, and then just some legalese on the back here, different languages. Okay, but let's take a look at Aerith and everything she comes with. Here's the stand. Standard fare for Bring Arts figures for Final Fantasy, the clear base. 2 different size clamps. One's a little bit longer than the other. I think both will work fine for Aerith. And then there's the stand with multiple holes for the flight rod to go in. And then here is the second head sculpt, which we'll put on and showcase. The eyes are closed like she's praying. Here's the guard stick. With 2 materia, and I love they have materia slotted in here. 2 green materia, so maybe like wind or heal, revival, something like that. Whatever you decide to use, Aerith for, typically a healer support role. And then there's the hands, which I love that Play Arts and Bring Arts give you a little stand to put the hands on. I think it's a unique touch. In case you don't want to keep the packaging, you could always display these next to the figure or in a box or a Ziploc bag or something. But here's the detail in the hands. Standard fare, nothing too crazy. I don't see any nail paint on the hands, no. But you have on the right there, those 2 hands clasped together like she's praying. A couple fists, those are the ones that I think hold the staff, and then a couple other fists there. And the one she has right when her hands are open hand, where I got her waving. But here's the figure. Let me bring her up closer to the camera. But yeah, she looks pretty good. Pretty faithful to the Final Fantasy VII look, right? The hair is kind of up high like that, exaggerated. The eyes, it looks a lot like her. in figure form. And so purists, Final Fantasy VII purists, ones that, stick to the original game and have a lot of fond memories of this game, this one's going to kind of hit home because it really is like Aerith is brought to figure form from that game. Her bangles she has on, even her high-cut vest has the metal there. Yeah, it looks really good. The pink dress looks nice. She came covered in a lot of plastic to protect her in transit. And so some of the plastic, I popped her chest off, the ball joint there, to pull the plastic off. The plastic around the legs was more difficult. I suggest using maybe scissors and being very careful. You don't catch the plastic while doing this. Oh, here's something that's an issue I'm seeing, though. The face comes off very easy. And I don't know if this is just maybe mine. As you can see here, the ball joint's not even in. Let's get this ball joint in. So you can see this ball joint here. It's a ball joint, and then it has, like, even though the neck doesn't move, the neck is solid. It gives you, like, I guess it's just one point. That is weird. Why did they do the second one? I think it's supposed to move down. Yeah, it does. It does move down a bit. So it's like a double hinge ball joint. Weird setup. I don't know why they made it so high. But if I can try and get this on in camera. Oh, time out. It's always a scary thing when things go flying during a video review. But that head and ball joint was kind of tough to get in. I may suggest you maybe heat up that ball joint or the head a little bit to soften it. But I was able to pop it in, no issues. But yeah, I mean, I think it still sits kind of high. I don't like how you can see that, the neck there. Her neck is way too high. You can see it moves a little bit. You kind of have to angle her head down. There it doesn't look bad. Yeah, I guess it's okay. But zooming in even further, I think her face looks really good. Look at the lips, the nose. Everything is done soft. There's some like reflective, almost like glitter paint for the eyes. And then she's got her choker on. Yeah. Really good detail for a 1/12 scale figure, 6-inch figure. And then there's her. See, look at that face come off. That's an issue. This is the first time with a Play Arts Kai or a Bring Arts figure where I've had the faces not like securely fit. Yeah, it doesn't even want to stay on. As you can see, yeah, this ball joint, boy, there's some issues here. I'm finding some issues live here on camera. Of how this needs to plug in. So if we look at this face here, you can see where it plugs in right there. Let me turn our light on. Make this a little bit easier for everybody to see, I think. But yeah, you can see here where that slots in. And it's supposed to just go right in. But boy, I tell you what, it does not want to stay. So, yeah, that's not a good fit. It's a friction fit and not a good one. So that's trouble. This one seems to fit a bit better. It seems to, sort of. Yeah, the friction fit on this, at least my version of this figure, is not very good. So just keep that in mind. You can always use like that tacky putty or whatever that stuff's called to hold it in place, but you shouldn't have to, right? Not for a figure that costs $129, $159. So, as much as I love these Bring Arts and Play Arts Kai figures, I really feel that Square Enix needs to step their game up a little bit in some of these. As much as they're charging for these figures, they need to step up their game a little bit. But yeah, that one seems to fit on better. But just note that the head is hard to get on that ball joint, and the face likes to fall off. Okay, so let's go over articulation. As I showed you how that ball joint worked, that double joint, which is, I'm not a fan of how they did that or why they did that. I'm not sure. But you can get her to look down pretty good. She looks up really good, which is nice. The head can go side to side, rock nice, but I'm having trouble with his faceplate wanting to stay on again. There's a ball joint at the ponytail, which I always think is awesome with these figures. They do that. And it can turn as well. So you can give it some, like the air, wind's blowing it, which I like. It's a really cool function. And then the arms do go up about 90. There's a swivel at the bicep right there where the vest cuts. a single jointed elbow, which gives you a little over 90, which is good, and then ball hinge wrists. And then these shoulders do drop down. They drop down. Not sure why you'd want to do that, but they do drop down, and then they go back up. There's a ball joint here, and it gives you really good motion. Not so much bending forward, as you can see. Bending back pretty good. And then the legs, it's kind of hard because this dress is cut all the way up. As you can see, sorry about that with the lighting. The legs are cut all the way up. But it's hard to get a lot of motion for these legs. They do go up about 90. They go 90, it's just hard to tell. And then the double jointed knees come back about that far, which is really good. And there is a thigh swivel. Man, it's hard to show you here. There's a thigh swivel up here though too. And then the ankles are on a ball joint. And then there's toe articulation at the end, minor toe articulation. You know, you have these Popeye boots, we like to call them, with the FF7 figures. So standard fare articulation for the Bring Arts figures that I've had so far. But let's go ahead and get her in a few poses now. All right, here's the first pose off of the top of the back of the box. And I just decided to use the stand because on the turntable, she didn't want to stay up. She just kept falling. The balance in this figure is not very good. I think it's the boots. And I'm continually having problems with that head and face plate falling off. So that's a big negative in my book. I mean, I think the figure looks fantastic. And if you're a Final Fantasy collector or a purist, you probably want this figure regardless if you're completing your set. But man, I'm telling you what, it's very frustrating to have this face falling off. As you can see here, it's not very tight. And the head just falls off too. I don't know if it's that ball joint. That double ball joint thing is weird. I don't think the other figures have that. I'm not sure what they were thinking. But, you know, regardless, aesthetically, she looks good. And maybe that's something people only care about. You know, once you get in her pose in your stand or DTOF, she'll look good. Let's strike a couple more poses here. Okay, and here's a pose with Aerith with her guard stick in battle, helping support Cloud and the team, fighting some fiends. You know, you can get some nice dynamic poses even with the skirt because of that cut there. But man, again, I'm telling you, I'm having a hard time with the head staying on and the neck or the faceplate falling off. It's a continual battle, and it's very frustrating from a play value. If you just want to strike a pose, like I said, and have her here for a year or two, whatever, you won't have any problems. But from a play value, man, this figure is not, it's frustrating. I'll say that. But, you know, she does look cool. Let's zoom in a little bit and take a look here at the details. The ribbon in her hair. I love the ball joint in the ponytail. It's a really cool touch. Guard stick looks nice. I'm going to show you guys in a second how that guard stick works, because to get her hand on, you've got to take it apart, and it only slots on one way. But yeah, it looks good. I think the paint apps look good on the figure though overall. The red jacket, the pink, you know, dress, the boots, it all looks classic Aerith. They nailed that part of it. It's just engineering that they need to do some work on, I think, with some of these figures, especially this one. Okay, I'm hoping the camera picks this up. I'm having trouble focusing, but I want you guys to see that there's a slot right there. See that slot on the right side? And there's a slot on here. So it's got to go in that way. The slot has to connect in the groove. Otherwise, this won't connect. So don't try forcing it, otherwise you might break it. And this staff, it's kind of like a soft, hard plastic, but just be very careful. It could snap here if you're not careful with this. It has some pliability, but I'd be very, very gentle with this piece here. All right, here is Aerith with the prayer hands on. They weren't the easiest to get on. I thought the Play Arts Kai version was easier, but I still got them on. Looks pretty good. Again, the head and faceplate are a mess. They continually fall off, so it's kind of frustrating, as I've already said many times. I'm just driving home the point that you're going to experience that with this figure likely, unless I have a bad seed. I don't know, a bad lemon, whatever. But, you know, I think, again, aesthetically, she looks great. I have her on the stand again because it's just really hard for this figure to stand without it. So keep that in mind. Unless you maybe have her supported by characters, she might fall. But let's go ahead and do some comparisons now. All right, and here is the team all assembled that has been released so far. Cloud Strife, Tifa Lockhart, Aerith Gainsborough, and Barrett Wallace. And man, together these look really cool. And as you can see, if you clump them together, you can help them not want to fall because they can support each other. Like Aerith is being supported right now by Tifa and Barrett. But I think aesthetically, man, if you are a FF7 fan, this is a no-brainer. These are super cool figures. Super cool figures. And I think apart from Tifa and Barrett, Cloud and Aerith have some problems. Cloud's left leg, that ball joint, it falls off a lot, just like Aerith's face and head. So there's some QC issues with these figures. Keep that in mind. If you're a huge fan, it might not matter to you, but just keep it in mind. There are issues. And if we zoom in a little bit, we can see this team in better detail here. They look really good. You know, Cloud with the Buster sword over his back, Tifa being all sassy, Aerith, you know, being Aerith. And then there's Barrett. Man, they look really good. And I think the next one out is Sephiroth. He comes out next. And then I think it's a break until next year. And early winter, spring, we get the other figures like Kate Sith, Vincent. I think Red might be coming too. Red 13 might be coming before next year. So Red and I think Sephiroth are next. Sephiroth being the next one. I can't wait for Sephiroth. Let's do one more comparison. Okay, and here's the Bring Arts Aerith next to the Aerith from Play Arts Kai Final Fantasy VII Remake. So you can see the difference there. I never realized in the remake how whitish Aerith's dress looks. It's not as pink as I thought it was until I saw it side by side with this Bring Arts figure. And I think, so they must have been aesthetically, they've changed that a little bit in Remake. I never really noticed it until now, putting these side by side. But still, they look great. You know, I love the remake stuff. I know a lot of Final Fantasy purists don't, but I love the new games. I'm currently replaying Rebirth for a second time, and I'm still loving it. But yeah, I think she looks good. They look good side by side. So I think together in the DTOLF, you know, you get your Bring Arts in one set, in one section, and then you got your Play Arts Kai in another section. Will look really nice. Okay, so at the end of the day, is this figure worth it? I'm going to do a new rating feature here on the Collector Cave, and it's going to be fire. 1 to 3 fire. 3 fire being this figure is a must. It's awesome, nearly perfect. Buy it. And then 1 fire being, you know, it's okay. And I think I'm going to reveal for this Aerith figure, I am going to give her 1 fire. 1 out of 3. This figure cooks in certain ways. Aesthetically, it looks fantastic. And if it's all you care about is the look, getting her in a couple poses, she does pose really well. Absolutely. I think it's worth it. I wouldn't do the digital version for 159. I don't think that's worth it. The 129 maybe is worth it. But outside of that, if you're into playing with figures, articulating them, moving them around a lot, this figure will frustrate you. The head and face fall off continually, and I don't think I'm the only review saying this. I watched a couple some months ago, and they had the same complaints. So I think it's a QC issue. Let me know if you guys have this figure, what you think. Is it frustrate you as well? I mean, some of the Bring Arts and Play Arts Kai stuff, I like a lot of what they do, but there's some really frustrating things they do in their design, which kind of surprises me for an Asian manufactured figure, to be honest. But regardless, I still collect them. I still like having them on the shelf. They look fantastic on the shelf for a display, for a talking piece. So yeah, I'm giving Aerith 1 out of 3 star fire. If you just care about aesthetics and you love FF7, you love Aerith, by all means, go for it. But if you're more into articulation and that, you're going to be upset. So let me know what you guys think. You know, give me a like, comment, you know, subscribe if you would. I'd appreciate it. And let me know what you guys think about this figure. So until next time, this has been Bring Arts Final Fantasy VII Aerith Gainsborough. Thanks for watching.